It's so cute. Wait, should I leave them here? Okay, no, I will put them away. Hello, I will be doing a video on what I brought to Japan with me because I recently moved to Japan all by myself. Very exciting, I know. Little 19-year-old girl going on her silly little adventures. Yeah, but obviously I could not bring my entire bookshelf. Unfortunately, that would have been a bit too expensive. So I brought a fine selection and we will go through that now. As you can see here, I have a little mini bookshelf. And let's just start from here. So I brought Verity by Colleen Hoover. I've read one Colleen Hoover book before. It's called Maybe Someday. It's about a deaf guy falling in love with a hearing girl, or like them falling in love with each other, vice versa. I didn't really like it. And this one is actually surprisingly good. I thought that Colleen Hoover's books would be too straight for me. Not to separate my gay ass from the straights, but like, it's just not, it's missing gay. But yeah, this one's good so far because like there are a lot of plot twists. For those of you who don't know it yet, even though it's very popular, it's about a young authoress, and she gets hired to finish the very popular book series by another author who's kind of like dying, or like she had a car crash, I think. Yeah, she's like then living in the house of this author that's like not able to continue her initial series anymore, and she sees some weird stuff. It's kind of scary sometimes. Oh, and also there's like a romance going on with the husband of the author, even though the author is technically still alive. But it's weird. But yeah, I brought it to Japan with me because I started it in Germany, and then I moved and I was like, bro, I want to finish this though, so I brought it with me. It's been 2 months, no, 1.5 months. I still haven't finished it, but oh well. Next I brought Perks of Being a Wallflower. I've actually finished this already. I've read it so many times. Like, see, I have a lot of annotations in there. It's one of my favorite books, like my top favorite books. It's just like a comfort book, and it's a comfort movie for me too. I don't know, you guys probably know about this. I mean, if you're watching a video on books, then you most likely are a little bit emo, which means you've probably seen the movie of this. The story is about Charlie, and Charlie has some mental issues. He has a bit of PTSD and depression and whatnot, and he is a wallflower, meaning that he's like a lonely boy, little emo boy. But then there are these senior kids, which means if you're not American, it's their last year in high school, and he's not in senior year yet. But anyways, he kind of gets involved in this friend group, and they're all like super adventurous, and they are really YOLO, living in the moment kind of. It's kind of like he gets a break from all of his mental problems. Of course, the seniors, they have to leave to college and move away, and then suddenly he's all lonely again, and then his mental problems come back again, and it kind of follows him on his path of growing up and dealing with his mental troubles. It is so sweet, and the movie is directed by the author too, so it's like a great book movie adaptation, because usually when there's a movie adaptation to a book, you're like, bro, this is not how I imagine it, because the director and the author interpreted the books differently. But like here, the author like knows what he was trying to say, so he is able to like show it very well in the movie too. So I love the book and the movie, and yeah, highly recommend it. I brought it with me because I want to reread it, or like in case I feel lonely and I just need some happiness, some serotonin, I can go back and read it. Actually, it's the same with Dead Poet Society. This is also very annotated by me. I haven't watched the movie yet. I really want to watch the movie, but it's one of those times where you're like, oh yeah, I will love this piece of media, and then you're waiting for the right moment to start watching it because you want to really appreciate it when you're watching or consuming it. And because of that, I keep putting off watching the movie, but one of these days I'm going to watch it and I will most likely love it, I think. This is, you probably know this already, but this is about a group of high school boys, like a private school kind of thing, like rich bitches, how they want to really romanticize their lives, how their teacher is introducing them to this new lifestyle where they really don't have to focus on what society would think of them or what they are expected to do, but rather to live freely. Wait, there's the saying. How does the saying go? Basically, the teacher starts this group with his students where they go out and go on little adventures and read poems and stuff like that, and it's really lovely. I really agree with like the idea of romanticizing everything, because I'm a little bit of a romanticizer myself. Also, I don't think I've seen a single movie with Robin Williams, but I already love this guy. And like, I found out like a year ago or maybe a couple of months ago that he was dead. Like, I haven't even seen a movie with him, but like I've seen some clips of his acting and he seemed like a really nice guy, and he's dead? Dude, that still breaks my heart, honestly. Yeah, but anyways, moving on. Next, this is a book I haven't yet read, but I want to read it because Jack Edwards, our book god, keeps talking about it, or like about the author in general, Ocean Vuong. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, little dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born. A history whose epicenter is rooted in Vietnam. This is a so-called brutally honest exploration of race, class, masculinity, and our current American moment, immersed as we are in addiction, violence, and trauma, but undergirded by compassion and tenderness. So yeah, apparently the writing is also amazing. Like, I keep hearing about Ocean Vuong's writing, so I'm excited to read it. But I think it's similar to Dead Poets Society, like I want to be in the right mindset to read it. So I keep putting off reading it, but yeah, one of these days I will read it. I will get around to it. Next, I brought a German book, Die friedfertige Frau, the peaceful lady. It's about feminism and it's like feminism in the sense of fighting back against the violence that's being done to women. Like, that's what the back says. I'm really excited to read this. First of all, because the cover is like beautiful. Like, look at this, I love the colors. That's low-key like the reason why I bought it. I love just how it looks. I think it looks so pretty. And yeah, also like reading about feminism, hell yeah, sign me up. So I will read it at some point soon. Next, I brought Wuthering Heights because I love the song by Kate Bush. Yeah, Kate Bush. I think it's Kate Bush. I love the song. I've been listening to it since I was a child, and I remember when I was a child and I was listening to the song, my mother like explained me what the song was about, and I was like, oh my god, that sounds so heartbreaking, what the fuck? And then I found out, oh, it's actually based on a real book. What? Yeah, also my favorite author, Sandy Nelson, she wrote a book where one of the characters is like obsessed with Wuthering Heights, and I really want to read that book which involves that character, but I want to read Wuthering Heights before that so I can get the references more. So yeah, I am like almost at half point, but it's taking me a while to read because I hate to say it, but you know the English classics like Pride and Prejudice and stuff like that. Just like drama between rich families, like romances too. They're not doing it for me because it's just like rich people problems, like, oh no, we're going to a ball and we dress very fancily, and oh no, I might have an affair. Oh, who will I choose? The safe option the guy who is societally acceptable, or will I choose the bad guy? Ooh. And I will do that while being rich and having no other problems except who I will love. Like, it's just like, okay, it's been done before, and like, I don't really care. Can you give me some more? Can you give me some spice? Can you give me some criticism of, I don't know. And also, can you give me some gay characters? Like, at this point I really need some gay characters in books. This is same with Colleen Hoover, why I didn't really enjoy other Colleen Hoover books, because there was just some gayness lacking. I need some sort of minority group, but yeah, that's also missing in classics because of, well, obviously we were not really a thing, or not allowed to be a thing back then. Not cool, but yeah. A little rundown of what goes on in Wuthering Heights. So we have this rich family, who would have thought, and there's this little poor orphan boy or something who gets adopted, and then this orphan boy and the daughter of the family, they fall in love and they grow up together, and then they like become lovers, and then one of them dies. Wait, no, okay, spoiler alert. Reminder to future Marie to put a spoiler alert there, but yeah, I don't know, like, it's tragic, and also it's like a horror kind of, or like, I think it's called dark romanticism, kind of, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's also a good thing to read during October, which means spooky season. I love spooky season, but this is taking me a while, because nevertheless it's written in like posh English. It's written in, I'm so fancy. Although it's not as bad, I don't have the attention span for that. I'm sorry, I wish I did. But like, my little brain, no, just use normal words. Yeah, what else? The Time Machine. I brought this with me because I want to read more classics, and this is a really skinny classic, so I could just smush it into my backpack for like on the plane, because I only brought one suitcase and one backpack, which contained my entire supply for 1 year of living in Japan. So yeah, I had to be very sparsome, but yeah, The Time Machine came with me. What is it about? I'm not sure, but it's a classic, so I will read it. I'm guessing it's about time traveling, probably. Yeah. Okay, we have 2 Hermann Hesse books. Hermann Hesse is a German icon. He's a legend. He is the moment. He wrote, you might know, Siddhartha. How do English people say it? Siddhartha. That's a very popular book of his. And I brought Siddhartha, this one, and I brought Der Steppenwolf, or in English, what would that be? The Stepwolf. I don't know what the English title is, but it's like some of his most well-known works. And one thing about me is I'm a Hesse girly, like homie. He's kind of giving everything. So you know how I said, oh yeah, in classics there usually isn't enough gay representation for me, and I get really bored by that. But homie was like so fruity. For my dark academia bitches, a big recommendation is Narziss und Goldmund. Narziss and Goldmund? I don't know what the English title is. I will put it on the screen. But it's about 2 guys who grow up in well, they grow up together, and then later their lives go kind of different paths, but they keep bumping into each other again, and they have this really close connection, and when they describe each other, it's like they're in love. That's not even like fruity, that's just like full-on soulmates. Yeah. And also my favorite by Hesse is Demian. I forgot the name, but it's Demian. So this is about, again, 2 guys who grew up together. Yeah, together they also explore like philosophical questions, and yeah, yeah. Herman has his writing style is very dark academia. He has a beautiful writing style, and also his books always deal with philosophical or ethical, philosophical. I don't know. It's the same thing, right? I don't know. But like when you read it, you can feel really like pretentious. Like, oh yeah, tell me about God and I don't know. But yeah, his books are good. Siddhartha it's following Siddhartha on his way to enlightenment and also like on his general like life path, I guess. Yeah, it's supposed to be very good. And der Steppenwolf, the Steppenwolf, is about this guy who has like a split personality kind of, so sometimes he's like a really nice normal guy and sometimes he's like the so-called wolf guy and he's just like, I don't know if he's evil, but it's just like his dark side, I guess. And it's probably Hermann Hesse's most well-known work. Like all of his works are well known, at least in Germany. They're also pretty skinny books, so it was good to bring them with me, or easy to bring them with me, so yeah, that's that. The last few books, let me start with this. This is Daughter of the Siren Queen. This is the second part of Daughter of the Pirate King. This is a duology fantasy book. It's about pirates and a girl boss and like family issues. And in this series I like how the main character is able to save herself and she's very independent, because a lot of the times in fantasy books it's like, oh yeah, my love interest is the big strong man and he's just here to protect me and I don't need to do anything because I just have a bodyguard and I'm like dating him, so that's epic. But no, in this one she's like, well, back off, I will do this shit by myself. Nevertheless, at some points I felt like it was kind of repetitive, like at least in this book. Like there was the training arc going on where she was trying to control, spoiler alert, her like siren powers, because she doesn't have a lot of control when she touches the water, but like her love interest is like kind of bringing her back to control, having control over herself. And so like what kept happening was like them going swimming together, like I don't know, 5 times in a row, and I was like, yeah bro, I get it, you guys go swimming together. And then she's losing her mind, but then the guy says her name and then it's like, oh my god, I have control again and I want to really fuck you. I'm like, bro, nice, can we move on? But yeah, I like, sorry, this was like uncalled for criticism. Like I think it's a good series. I never read fantasy, it's not really my genre unfortunately, but this one I actually enjoyed. But yeah, it's a good book. I said my criticism just now, but like overall I would recommend it. I think it's pretty good if you're into fantasy and also like into pirate stuff. Next, I got this from English secondhand bookstore. It's called what is the title? Is this the title or is this the title? I don't know. Tales of Parasites, People and Politics, Federal Body Snatchers and the New Guinea Virus. This is a non-fiction book about like pandemics, viruses, and how third world countries don't really deserve equal treatment to those viruses or illnesses or medical care compared to other countries. So while like viruses could be a global issue, the first world countries would get treated better, meanwhile the third world countries get kind of neglected. I want to read this to educate myself on the topic, and it just seems like a very important topic. Also, this cover is cool. I think this might be a malaria fly, I'm not sure. Like, it's a cool cover nevertheless. Yeah. Oh yeah, last book, The Bell Jar. I've been reading this for months because I'm not devouring this. I am slowly enjoying it. This is like gourmet, like I taste it in little pieces. And also I'm like, wait, bro. I'm aggressively annotating this. I don't know if it picks up on the camera, but I have like a bunch of shit written in here because I'm like analyzing it while I'm reading it. I want to read this with my class at some point. Oh yeah, I want to be a teacher, English and arts teacher at some point, so I'm already reading a lot of classics that I can introduce to my students at some point. And this is definitely one of the books that I will read with my students, just because I know I'm going to have some mentally ill bitches in my class and they will eat this shit up. And I will, oh, I'm doing it right now. This book is about this young girl, not young, but like teeny girl, just graduated from high school, and she gets this, is it a scholarship? I don't know, but it's set in the 50s, and she goes to this kind of camp for girls her age who learn about the fashion industry, or was it magazines? Something like that, like very feminine stuff and being a lady, very ladylike stuff. Meanwhile, Miss Girlie is kind of going through a mental crisis. She's kind of losing her mind. And we love that in this house. We are all about going crazy. But it's so well written. Like, when you start reading one sentence, you're immediately captivated into the book, into the language, into everything. And I really, like, I wish I could read it faster just because I want to like finish it and know everything, but at the same time I'm like, when I'm reading it I'm like, oh yeah, this is such a good line, and oh yeah, I noticed something there that's like connected to something that was said like 30 pages ago, so I will analyze and highlight it and point out the symbolisms. But then it just slows down my reading progress so much, and that destroys my motivation to continue reading a bit. I don't know, yeah, but it's like a great book. I just can't wait to be through with this and then read it again and have all of my analysi already in there. Okay, so those are all of the books that I have packed with me to go to bring to Japan. Okay, then I hope you have a very nice day. I hope you're reading some good books that are also good for your head. Don't read too depressing books. I know it's tempting to read like emo book, but read some happy books too. Read Perks of Being, no, never mind, that's partially a happy book, but read Dead Poets Society, that's also partially a happy book. So yeah, don't read your emo books. Take care of yourself, okay? Okay. 사랑해. Oh, now, oh. Yeah, okay, bye.